Well, here now is Daniel Turner, Power of the Future Executive Director. Daniel, great to see you. Let's just get right into this. The claim on Capitol Hill is we've got price gouging from gas stations. Is there a shred of evidence to support that?
No, not whatsoever. And it's actually really insulting because this is an industry that at the height of the pandemic was basically going bankrupt. Many of these corporations were losing up to $20 billion in profits. They were laying off their staff. And there was no collective sigh of mourning, right? The Congress never came to their aid. They were just saying this is part of, this is rough and tumble capitalism, right? So that now that the industry has changed, and most of it has changed because of Biden's policies, that now all of a sudden they're the bad guys, right? I'm curious, Brian, if there's ever going to be an investigation into the pharmaceutical industry that did very well under COVID. I'm curious if there's going to be an investigation into companies like Amazon and Walmart that did very well during COVID, as their competition was put out of business, deemed non-essential, right? So it's just all political theater, and quite frankly, me with the industry, we're just sick and tired of it.
Well, it's theater, and we've seen the show before, but of course the theme was a little different. 6 months ago, these guys were sitting on Capitol Hill telling oil companies that they're producing too much oil. Quit producing oil. Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you embarrassed that you're producing oil? Daniel, why would an oil company facing that kind of onslaught from Capitol Hill ever want to make the long-term investments that could increase production?
Absolutely. Invest is the key word here, right? This is a very capital intensive industry. And so to put up tens of millions of dollars through loans and financing, only to have the Biden administration withhold permitting, withhold the necessary environmental impact studies, it's quite frankly a bad investment right now, and the industry is responding to that. All of these CEOs said individually, the best thing that you could do is speed up the permitting process. And as soon as they started to go down that trail, of course, the member of Congress demanded to reclaim their time, and they talked about how they had to get to their next question. These men and women were never able to actually speak and give their side of the story.
I'm hearing some talk now that the Biden administration wants to go to Canada to buy more oil from Canada, but they're not interested in building new pipelines to get it to the United States. What difference would it make to go to Canada, Daniel, if we don't have the infrastructure to get it here as cleanly, as safely, and as cheaply as possible?
Absolutely. Well, look, this is just a numbers game, right? A railroad car can carry about 650 barrels of oil. The most of these railroad cars can be linked together is about 100. So do the math, that's 65,000 barrels of oil. The Keystone Pipeline could have brought 800,000 barrels of oil. Not only that, but the railroad is going to burn around 70,000 gallons of diesel on each trip. And that cost is going to get added to the price of the oil, right? So why would Canada want to send oil to the United States if they can't do it economically efficiently, and if they can only do it in increments of 650 barrels per railroad car? So that was the goal of Keystone. The goal of Keystone was to say, let us find all the means necessary to create this energy infrastructure. When you handicap this industry through the financing, through the lending, through the infrastructure, well, of course, the industry responds by not being productive. And quite frankly, right now, it is not productive, and no one is to blame more than Joe Biden.
Daniel, have any of the Democrats on this committee gone down to Texas, gone down to New Mexico, gone to the Dakotas, gone to Pennsylvania, and said to the people there, thanks for what you're doing? Have they gone to them, or is it all about hauling these executives up to D.C., Daniel?
Yeah, well, right now, hauling them to D.C. is essential because it's an election year, and these are sound bites and fundraising campaigns, and so this is all the political theater for their campaign. But I will say this, there are some high-ranking Senate Democrats from energy-producing states that voted to forego sanctions on Nord Stream 2, Vladimir Putin's pipeline, but they also agree with the Biden administration that we should have stopped Keystone. That's Bob Casey from Pennsylvania, right? That's Sherrod Brown from Ohio. That's Senator Bennett and Senator Hickenlooper from Colorado. It's Senator Martin Heinrich from New Mexico. They represent oil and gas states, and they're supporting Putin's pipelines and not American pipelines. And so I'm sorry, this is all just one big sham of a hearing, and it's insulting to the men and women who break their backs every day trying to produce this industry and make it profitable.
Well, not only is it insulting, but it's just creating an energy environment that is standing in the way of this country being as prosperous as it could be, helping people get back to work, and frankly, just helping people afford to live day to day. Daniel, we got to leave it there, but thank you so much for the perspective. We appreciate it.
Thank you.